Love them or hate them?
I love every one of them. Gary! They, yeah.
And he looks great in shorts when he's 23.
You should see me. They're not going to.
They're going to.
And we used to think about it as writing a book.
Yeah.
This is better.
Hello, I'm David Duffin. Today's special guest, we have the ever caring, ever sharing, and ever flaring Ian Merchant, or as most people call Mercho. So join us. Hey Ian, how are you?
I'm good, Dave.
Good mate, that's good. Great
Good to see you.
Oh, of course.
Glad to be here.
Oh, it's wonderful. So you've, I just wanted to say that you've probably got around 35 years experience in the scenic art industry, but even more for sign writing. Is that right?
There you go, Dave. I've always been a sign writer. I spoke to someone today and said, worked out 47 years.
47 years
47 years
of artwork, isn't it?
Oh, well, I guess.
Everything.
Yeah, everything.
Can I ask how old you are?
Just turned 64.
64, and healthy too.
Yeah, will you still feed me? Will you still need
Oh,
me?
that's right. That's right.
I've had a Beatles birthday.
Oh, yeah, there's been a few actually,
Yeah.
but that's good. So, okay, so 64. So where were you born, mate?
I was born on the fertile banks of the Hunter River in Maitland, New South Wales.
Ah, wow. Okay, in the countryside.
Yes.
It's not near the river.
The hospital was near the river. It's not anymore, but it's still there. And then grew up in the little country town of Patterson.
Okay, it's all right.
About age 21.
Ah, okay.
Studied at Newcastle Ties Hill Technical College. Did my apprenticeship 4 years.
Wow. I mean, that's kind of, is that a sign writing apprenticeship?
That's the sign writing apprenticeship, and which I did, before I started that, I did a 12-month pre-apprenticeship course in painting and decorating and sign writing. So.
Wow. That's where you get it, that's where it stems from.
Yeah,
I mean,
so then there was
there a real love for it when you were doing it, or you didn't
well,
know?
I always drew things, Dave. I can remember the first thing I drew when I was 3 years old.
You remember?
Yeah.
You remember?
It was like two circles and a bubble on the top. That was a car.
Oh, yeah, right.
And that evolved into a bus, a train.
And a fast car.
Yeah, and a faster car.
A faster car.
So
that's good. I've done a few of those.
Yeah.
But it was never that good.
You know, and...
wow, that's amazing. So, okay, so you grew up there.
Yeah.
But just currently, where do you live, and do you find that inspirational for your career?
It's certainly soothing kind of a place to live, but I've lived on Tambourine Mountain now for 34 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
It's a long time to be in one place. That's the kind of guy I am.
Right.
And the move from Newcastle to Tambourine Mountain was ridiculous. I had no intentions of moving anywhere.
And how the hell did you go from there to there?
Well, yeah, good question. Was working with a guy in Newcastle in a sign shop down there, an illuminated sign shop, where we did hand cut perspex.
Wow. And you're spraying lacquer thinners?
Yeah, that's what's killing me now, I think. Back sprayed all the automotive paint.
Now, most people wouldn't know today because of vinyl, but that was the time. You had to mask, cut, spray, but not thick enough to kill your transparency.
Exactly.
Because anything more than 30% on a sheet of acrylic is going to turn it opaque or something.
And you had to work on your build-up of colours too, because you'd start with your darkest colour and work back, start with black and work back to white. So you'd try and keep your colour scheme to only 2 or 3 colours for an illuminated box.
Oh, right.
some colours.
But in the 70s, it's pretty tricky.
You could put yellow over the back of red, and that wouldn't hurt it because it'd just still glow red.
I see.
But if you
right.
you know, if you
Put
put
a blue
yellow,
or
put yellow over blue, would it go green?
Oh yeah,
So, yeah.
That's
All those
very,
kind of things.
But geez, what a learning curve that would be.
Yeah, but I was the foreman in that sign shop, and guy I was working with, he moved to Ashmore up here on the coast.
Right.
And of course, when he came up, we said, we'll come up and visit once you're up here and set up. And the company I was working for, BM Signs, they had established a branch up here as well.
Right.
I didn't really want to come up here and work for them, but I thought, well,
what a move.
Yeah,
Man.
it was
And
literally.
who did you come up with? Your family or
No. A mate of mine that I was working with. We came up and stayed with him for a week. Looked around. Well, I didn't look around. I spent the week working for him in his backyard because he was a signee as well.
And how old were you then?
30.
30, right.
30.
Hey, okay.
And literally on a whim, drove up to Tambourine Mountain just to have a look. Never been there. Had no idea what it was, where it was, what it was like. And
was that summer or winter? Because it would have been
middle of winter. It was like
freezing.
No, it was like June, July. But that week it was so warm that I was working in my mate's backyard with my shirt off.
Oh,
In
right.
Newcastle, it was cold, miserable, and raining.
Okay, that's Queensland, right?
Yeah. And so we went, well, this is good. This is good.
That's amazing.
And I still don't know to this day, Dave, what made me do it. But we pulled up in front of the house, and before I even got out of the car, I was ready to sign for it.
That's
and
amazing.
Put a $50 deposit on it that day.
Oh.
Went home and worked out how we were
Because it
gonna
wasn't
do
for sale.
Well, it was a spec. Yeah. I want a cup of tea.
Yeah. That's amazing. So, just jumping back, you know where you grew up,
Yeah.
like in, sorry,
In Patterson.
in Patterson.
And
No, but you were born in Maitland.
Born
right?
in Maitland, which is...
Can you tell us a bit about your family, your young family life? Do you have brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I've got a brother. I had two sisters. One's passed away. Yeah.
Were they arty? Were they creative or sporty?
No. In fact, they discouraged me from doing art at school, right?
And what?
Well, my brother and my sister both said, "Oh, don't do that. It's too much theory. So serious. It's really boring. Whatever you don't do art. Do something like commerce or geography or something, you know." So I only did art as like two periods a week in high school.
But commerce is exciting too.
Nothing against accountants.
No, that's right.
Um,
Well, I mean, yeah, that's
But
good. Okay.
all my early art training at primary school, we had a primary school teacher who was doing art classes at night through the week. And what she went through the week, she'd come and teach us the next day.
I see.
She was a dedicated teacher. God bless you, Miss Stuckings or Mrs. Jupp, as she ended up being. No, the other way around. Miss Jupp ended up being Mrs. Stuckings. So,
Nice.
lovely
So
lady.
she was an inspiration.
Yeah,
for you,
well, one of my earliest art teachers.
And what was that like? Grade 3 or grade?
Yeah, exactly. About grade 3 and 4. So
Yeah.
8
that's
or
right.
9. Yeah.
All right. So just broadening that scope, can you briefly explain what the fundamental role of a scenic artist may be?
Good question. Well, in the film industry?
Yeah, in the film, yeah, in the
Okay.
broader sense. I mean,
Um,
we can jump back. We'll
well,
jump back to that. I
yeah,
just want to
but,
get this out there. So,
basically, it's a trompe l'oeil thing. It's like we're there to trick the eye into believing you're seeing something that's not really there.
that's
so,
right. Yeah.
You know, a piece of MDF that's painted in a to look like maple or granite or travertine marble, whatever you want. Yeah, we're there to trick the eye.
What was your first serious like paint job? Was it when you were a teenager or? Was it before the sign writing or the college courses, or did you paint a scooter or a bicycle? Or
Yeah, you're right. You're getting there. I think the first sign that I did and got paid for, I think, was one of the local churches in town, hometown.
Wow.
So I must have started going to tech, and of course, as soon as your mother tells everyone that, oh, my son's going to be a sign. Yeah, well, what's getting down here and do this?
That's great. And
Yeah.
and what that was getting paid was a bonus, so I guess.
I don't think I got paid for it. As
The youth getting ripped off.
Yeah, my father used to say, son, you work for nothing, you'll never be out of a job.
Yeah, right.
And because it was a church job, he said, but that one's good for your soul.
Oh, that's nice. That's good. And your father, what did he do?
He was a farmer.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's right, because
Yeah.
he built a muddy tennis court out
that's
in
right. You saw that photograph of me as a 2-year-old tennis player. Yeah,
That's great.
yeah.
And he looks great in shorts when he's 23.
You should see me. You're not going to.
They're going
You're
to.
not going to. No, I didn't send it.
That's that's funny. Okay, so give us what industries have you worked in? Film and television, theme parks,
The sign industry. Yeah.
signs.
You know, I had about 6 to 12 months where I sold kit homes over the phone.
Wow.
Just when films were really quiet
Right.
and the theme park work wasn't around so much.
When there's airline strikes.
Yeah, all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
I forget the actual year it was, but my beloved worked for a shed company. I had contacts there and said, look, I'd love to have a go at something else, something different, work in an office for a while.
Right, why not?
Yeah.
And how did you find it?
The job wasn't too bad. I could do the job. Like, selling over the phone was not too difficult.
So you've got that. I got to say, Ian's got this level of patience that not many other artists I know have. That's true. That's true.
All right.
Okay, so you did that.
Yeah.
What about? So have you touched on fine art? Did you get interested in that? Because you're up the mountain. Do you do landscapes or anything? Or?
No, not as such, because if no one's paying me for it,
Yeah.
I've got other things that I can be doing.
Gotcha.
So
fair enough.
one day,
Yeah.
One
Okay.
day
Good.
I will put brush to canvas and start doing some proper stuff.
That's great, Ian.
But there are jobs where they wanted me to do that. So
Okay.
are you going to have another break now? So,
I'm
you
going
look
to
like
have
you
another
look
break.
like you're going to have
Well,
another
yeah,
break.
can we-
Dave's having another break now. I'll still be here, but
Okay, I'll be back in a sec. So, were you ever inspired by the artists, the greats, or not that you have to be, but or
Mr.
contemporary artists, or
Mr. Squiggle.
Mr. Love it.
How cool's that?
My
My very first art influence was Mr. Squiggle.
Yeah.
It occurs
Check
to me
check
it's-
Mr. Squiggle
Yeah.
out, everybody.
Google that.
Yeah.
Mr.
Well, that's
Google.
nice. I mean,
Yeah.
that's in your basic primary foundation now, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean,
It's to have fun,
yeah,
enjoy it,
yeah.
and be
And-
silly.
And turn it upside down, Miss Pat.
And turn it upside down. That's
And
right.
hurry up. But any of the masters, I think, that I identify with would be Leonardo. Right. I relate to him because he never finished anything. I want to do the same. We get bored and stuff and move on to something else.
That's right. But I mean, he was serious. You were serious because when he was not painting, he was trying to develop oil varnishes and
Yeah.
you know.
Absolutely. He was trying everything. They say that he's responsible for the Shroud of Turin. Right. It was like the royal family's little joke on the rest of the world, or it was his little joke on the royal family.
Yeah, right.
Mm.
Yeah.
So they say.
Did you ever get overseas and get to have a look and travel, see any amazing like paintings or architecture or?
Well, as you know, I worked in Germany there on the theme park job over there for 6 months, and the best time I had there was a quick weekend trip to Paris.
Yeah, you got to do that.
I've got a photo of myself standing outside of the loop. We didn't have enough time to actually go in, but I was stood outside it, so I was that close to the Mona Lisa. I knew she was in there.
The real one? Is the real one in there? I don't know.
Depends on which conspiracy theorist you listen to.
Yeah. No, but isn't that great? I mean, look at the history, mate.
Yeah.
So how did you get into the scenic art game? Like film and television. So.
Okay.
Because there's theme parks and
Yes,
film and television.
Exactly.
So.
It was literally one phone call changed my life. It was one of those sliding door moments. When we moved up here in 1990, I think it was about early 91, the first IndyCar races on the Gold Coast, which were evolved into the V8s
Right.
after the IndyCars stopped coming. I was subcontracted for Gold Coast signs,
Okay.
just doing signs on the
Right.
course.
Right.
The Movie World theme park was well on the way to being ready, and the art director that was in charge of props and dressings for Movie World, Tony Reed, rang Gold Coast Signs looking for a sign writer for a couple of weeks.
Okay.
They said, well, we're very busy, we're doing the Palm Meadows Golf Classic, but bring her in, he might be able to help you out.
Okay.
So Tony Reed phoned me.
Hey, Tony.
Hi, Tony. And he said, "Oh, mate, we need a sign writer for about 2 weeks. The problem is we need you to start tomorrow. Could you do that?" And I said, "Well, look, I've got a bit on." I said, "But there's nothing that I can't postpone for a couple of weeks." I said, "Yeah, sure, I'm your guy. I'll come down." 2 weeks ended up being 6 weeks. I was there the day it opened. And then once the theme park was opened, Tony was doing more theme park work at SeaWorld, a bit more at Movie World as time went on, so he called me in for that again. Then he was art director on the New Adventures of Skippy the Bush Kangaroo.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I got some sign work. So I started out by doing sign work for TV series and some movies of the week that were happening. And there was a TV series.
And then you meet people.
Yeah, exactly. I had contacts. I met Robbie and Louis Wool.
Yeah.
And Chris Goddard.
Yes.
And
the late great Chris.
The late great. He called me in a lot for the TV series they were doing called Time Tracks.
Right.
With the legendary Stuart Burnside.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Brilliant designer. And then
Don't
they
piss
did
him
it.
off.
No. Gary. They did a second series of Time Tracks, and I got on to the paint crew as a brush hand.
Okay.
Because Chris went back to South Australia and tried to stay down there.
Right. Yeah. I remember.
So I got on there with as a brush hand, and then rolled on to a few TV movies. And
What year would that be? Early 90s, right?
Yeah, it was before.
Was that before Movie World? Was it a similar time?
After the theme park.
Okay,
yeah.
right.
So I was still getting work in the theme park.
Gotcha.
And then of course we started off with Escape from Absalom.
Yes, with Ray.
With Ray. Hello, Ray.
Hey, Ray.
The Godfather.
The
Godfather of us all. Yeah.
And it just went on and on.
Yeah,
Okay, that's great.
You get known, people know you, and if they like you, they call you back.
Yeah.
If they don't like you, you don't get another call back.
And they called him back.
Still doing it. What's that, 34 years?
Yeah, close.
Yeah. We'll try and remember how long ago that was. Often thought this is something that should have been done, and we used to think about it as writing a book.
Yeah.
This is better.
Yeah, no,
this
it's
is a
good.
better idea.
It's good. All these guys should be recognised, and Ian's one of them.
Yeah.
Now, so how do you describe your scenic artist position to others? And did they ever understand what exactly it was?
Well,
Because not many people really know.
You know, you say to people, I work on the films, I work in the studios. Oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm a painter. Oh, you paint the sets and stuff. I said, yeah. I said, basically, if it's new and they want it to look old, we'll make a new thing look old or an old thing look new. And as I said before, we basically trick your eye into believing you're seeing something that's not really there.
Right.
You know, it's make a cave and make it look like stone. And
yeah, and like just to getting into developing, say, a piece of wall, like a piece of rock or something, or you can paint something on a wall and walk away and have a quick look at it for a couple of seconds, and that might give you an idea of where to go from there. Is that how you work on these things?
Well, I think it all comes down to a good scenic artist is someone that's got a good eye for observation, and you know, and not necessarily on the job, but you walk around and you look at sandstone buildings and you're looking at it with your scenic eye and going, how can I do that on the wall? You know?
Oh yeah,
Or,
right.
Yeah,
right.
well, I do.
Like how many layers?
Yeah,
is in
exactly. Well, you're walking through the bush and you're looking at the trees and the rocks and whatever, and you think, if I had to recreate that on a piece of polystyrene or something like that, what would I do? How would I start? Where would I start?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You know, what's the base colour of that rock, and where do we go from there?
I get you. What's some of the favourite shows you've worked on?
Oh God. I had a lot of fun recently on one that we did called Nautilus. That was the submarine TV show. That was fun.
Oh, okay.
So great set, absolutely magnificent set. Disney was stupid. Sorry, Disney, but you were stupid not to actually promote that and run with it. Could have been great.
Yeah.
But it's still on Stan, so watch it on Stan.
Straight to video? No.
Well, straight to TV. It was made for TV. It's a series.
How big was the crew? How big is the crew for one of these shows?
A paint crew?
Yeah.
I think it was probably 10, 15, 20, depending on the times.
And what would be the roles that are in that team?
Oh, you start out with the labourers, and then the labourer brush hands, then the painters who are full-on painters, not necessarily scenics. Don't want to be scenics, just base out everything.
Right. Right.
You know, the guys that are good with the concrete plaster mixes and things like that, work on the hoppers.
Of course, texture is another thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Then the set finishes and the scenics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, that's interesting. That's nice.
All being told what to do by the art director and designer.
Are there any favourite shows that you enjoy that you wish you'd worked on?
Oh, yeah, the Boon movies would have been great work on that. God, Game of Thrones, wouldn't you like to have been a scenic on Game of Thrones?
I would have.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
Good show.
So, just jumping in, you mentioned Stuart Burnside. Were there any other designers that you thought were pretty amazing at their job?
Oh, I was going to say, who would my favourite designer be to work for? I don't know that I've got any favourites. There's been a few.
Maybe there's one coming.
The next one. the next one. Yes, the next designer would be great. Years ago, Oscar and Lucinda.
I see. Right.
You see it?
I've heard of it.
It was
I can't
Ralph Fiennes and Kate Blanchett's one of Kate Blanchett's first movies.
Right.
And the designer on that was Luciana Arrighi. She was quite lovely, but eccentric. That's the only way I could. Yeah, eccentric.
And would she give the information or anything you need? No, she was
good. But we had an issue with the the main set piece in the whole show was a chapel, a glass chapel that was floated up the river, and it was the river we used was. We should stop here, Dave.
Okay, we'll be right. Tell me more about Oscar and Lucinda and the set piece that you.
This set piece, it was a glass chapel, right?
How do you support a glass chapel?
It was all steel framed, like wrought iron, and it was supposedly it was a period piece, so it was like 1850s, 1870s.
Yeah.
And the story was that there was a bet on that they couldn't get this glass church or chapel to Bellingen.
Is this based on a true story?
No, I think it's just
wild fantasy.
Yes,
Science
I forget
fiction.
who wrote the novel, but it was a well-read novel that kids were reading it in high school as a English assignment. So we had this location halfway between Grafton and Glen Innes on the Man River, which is a heritage-listed wilderness.
Right
out in the backwoods,
which would create problems
as well.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
We'll get into
it's
that
fairly sensitive part of the world to be working, but we had the issues where there was a storm forecast, and they were predicting heavy rain, flash flooding, all the rest of it. I could be wrong, but I think the director of the movie was Jane Campion. Is she the lady that did the piano?
Yes.
The same lady, right? Jane Campion knew about the weather forecast, said to one of the Indigenous extras, who was a tribal elder, could you do anything about this?
Oh my God.
You would think, oh.
And he did.
She
walked
over and picked up, not a real axe, a prop axe.
Right.
Walked over, said a few local lingo words, slammed this axe into the riverbank, turned around, walked away. We all looked at it, went, what just happened? Nobody touched that axe. Wow. The next day, the storm had sort of gone further south, almost washed Coffs Harbour away, but we were fine. But the river did come up. The river came up quite a lot, and so it was the Friday, and the guys we had a jetty built out onto the river as part of the location, and the guys found a canoe, like it washed up against the jetty. And later on in the day, there was a few helicopters were flying around. Later on in the day, a couple of guys that had been up the river on a fishing trip, wandered into the back of the location, and we were set up ready to go. They've wandered down this heritage-listed wilderness river, like traumatised from the floodwater reaching their tent. No. One of their mates had walked off to get help, and they didn't know.
Right.
So they lost a couple of canoes and everything, floated down the river and ended up on our jetty. So yeah, they're walking down the river. The first thing they see is the steeple with this glass chapel.
Oh no!
They knew that if they walked down the river, they'd get to Jack Adgery, which is a little whistle stop on the and a bridge, and they'd get back to civilization. But they're getting confused because they can see smoke and they can see as they're walking down the river. And they walk into what's the absolute edge of the location, which is just over a rise.
Yeah.
They can see the buildings now. They walk up to an extra who's in costume.
They don't know.
And they say, wait, where the hell are we? And the extra just went, Bellingen. What?
Can't.
He's in Bellingen, 1857.
Right.
These guys thought they'd time travel.
That's funny, isn't it? That's a great story.
So they walked in their wetsuits. It's hilarious.
That's amazing. Okay, so you've been on these shows. Construction managers, love them or hate them?
I love every one of them.
Just teasing.
Yeah.
There's some great ones
I
out
love some more than others. How about that? I love the one I'm working for right now.
I mean, there's. Can you name out a couple?
Well,
that you've had a
Greg
good time?
Hodger was the construction manager on Oscar and Lucinda.
Right.
The location foreman on that job was Jonah.
Yeah,
Jonah,
yeah.
and Mick Owen was his
Right.
what do you call him? Assistant.
Yeah.
Love you, Mick. Yeah, so we had a good time on that job.
Any others you've worked with?
Oh, John Pickering, Andrew Gardner.
Ah.
Andrew Gardner a lot in the early days.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who else? More recently, Ross Clark. Recently.
So let's move into favourite techniques. Like, do you enjoy marbling or wood graining, or do you do that kind of stuff? Metallic finishes, gold leaf. You've done some
yes.
amazing gold leaf.
Gold leaf. Yeah.
And what? Just quickly describe what's the basic method for gold leaf that works for you?
Well, for transfer gold, I just whatever the design is, I'll do that with enamel first, and the transfer gold just gets you let the enamel. Just
So you do like a black outline first? Is that? Or
no,
you stick your gold leaf on first?
Yeah,
What do
you
you
put the
do?
gold leaf on first. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So whatever your design is, if you for instance, if it's an honour board, you're writing someone's name on there, so you mark it out with chalk, and then dust it with a bit of talcum powder so the gold doesn't stick where you don't want it to.
Ah, right.
Then you basically write that with enamel.
Gotcha.
Yeah, or a gold size.
A clear.
Well, no, I usually use like a mid-chrome yellow.
Oh, hey, I'm a little confused. So are you talking about outlines, or what are you
No,
sticking
just
your
the
gold
lettering.
onto?
So whatever the lettering or the design, whatever it is, whatever has to be gold.
I see. But what if it's a shop window? You light from behind.
Okay. Yeah, totally different process. So you have to, you have your layout on paper on the outside of the glass.
Right.
So and then you will write your black outline on the inside of the glass.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And then gold size then is different. It's like gelatin and hot water. The old school gold size. Now you can buy it ready made. It's like
gelatin. Yes, already used before.
Yeah.
Wow.
The traditional method was, and I reread this the other day, funnily enough. For gold size on glass, it was enough gelatin to cover a 10-cent piece.
Okay.
Mix that into a pint, not 500 ml, but a pint of warm water.
Okay. And that would be real sticky.
Size.
Is that? I mean,
yeah.
How long did that take to tack off?
Well, you didn't need it to tack off at all. You just flood that over what you were writing, and then you floated your gold onto the gold size.
Gotcha, mate.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I haven't done enough, man.
That's
fascinating.
Trust me, I haven't done a lot of that.
Yeah.
Silver leaf you'd use a bit more gelatin.
But you mentioned earlier today, and I just want to jump back into this. Traditional sign writing has been a dying art for the last 35 years. But good news is it's coming back, and people are willing to pay good money to do good signage, the traditional way. And if you can do it, I mean, take advantage of it. And this man can do it. Yeah.
We try.
That's good.
we have a crack.
Okay, so how are you with tools and alices and spray guns? Do you look after them, or are you one of these guys that just like trash them?
No. I've got sign writing brushes that I've had since I was an apprentice, and that's
Don't give them to me.
no. I think I did loan you one. Didn't I? Didn't I loan you a sign writing brush?
I think so.
Yeah. I think you ended up buying me a new one, didn't you?
If you think so, I did, yes. I can't remember. Okay, so you look after your gear because you respect the tools.
That was like day one of the first tech course was care for your brushes. Look after your tools, I'll look after you.
Robbie mentioned that he looked after his stuff because he couldn't afford to buy them in the start. You know,
yeah, well that's right. Sign writing brushes are, even today, are really expensive.
Right.
Yeah, and they were when I was an apprentice too. And I was expected to buy my own, or the boss bought them and then took money out of my pay to pay for them.
Is that right?
Yeah. That's how you got your kit in the early days.
And you think
a couple of dollars a week, but it was, when you're on $74 a week,
yeah, right,
as a first year apprentice.
Wow. And do you find that the young ones are taking care of the
Some
equipment?
do, some don't. You know,
Right.
if you get onto them early enough. Young fellow we got in the shed right now, Hamish, he's a good lad. Hello, Hamish.
Yeah. And Rachel.
Rachel.
She looks after.
Rachel!
Oh, that's great.
Don't know what I mean.
I was going to ask you, have you got any favourite style of artwork today? Or you just...
Oh,
because you like the Da Vinci, like when you were younger.
yeah.
But,
I mean, I, as far as artwork for myself, I sketch a bit.
okay,
You know,
right.
just pencil, black pen.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that sort of stuff. Because it's fast.
Yeah, right.
You know, I can do something.
So you prefer just quick results, you know, or rather than...
Yeah, if I'm just mucking about.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to be able to sit down and you know, spend a week on a proper painting job.
Yeah, that's right.
But no one's going to pay me to do that, so I
Gotcha.
won't be doing that until the government's paying me to do it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, big budgets or small budgets?
Well, big.
I've had a
big
few
is
different
good,
answers with this one.
But big is good because you get everything you need.
Right.
You know, yeah. I think big budgets are better because you.
Okay, and what are the cons? Any? Not too many.
Not too many on a big budget.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then there's the other end of the scale too, where if you're on a small budget and you know you're going to burn a small budget, and you've got to work with limited quantity of gear, that can be fun as well.
Right.
You know, it can be fun. It can be frustrating
Okay.
because you can't get what you need to do the job, so you have to make do. Having to make do sometimes is fun.
And
Like,
this,
as standby, that's often the case.
right.
And that's sort of been my gig now for a couple of years, that I do the standby.
And standbys, they all know coffee is a great aging mix.
Yeah,
When they've got nothing else.
well, that's right. That's it. You make it up on the spot. You know,
Saliva's pretty good too.
yeah. Oh, look. What's the old? Louis will tell you the story about the wattle and door.
What's that one?
Oh no, I'll let Louis tell you that story. You asked
Okay.
him.
All right.
Yeah.
I will. Yeah.
The wattle and door.
No, that's good.
When you get there, you'll know. But talk about making it up
The
on the spot.
waddling door.
No, not waddling. Wattle and door.
The wattle
You know, like
and door.
a mud hut.
Oh,
Like a big
okay.
mud hut.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll come back.
Yeah. Come back there.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I'll enjoy that from Louis.
Yes. No, you'll ask Louis about that.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you find the industry is healthier for body and mind?
Oh, Dave, I can certainly tell you that the events in my life in the last couple of months, I wouldn't have gotten through without the people in this industry. you know, I got taken care of very well in the last 6 weeks or so.
Condolences, mate.
All of that, yeah, all of that. And I don't know another industry where I would have been shown the care and been given the time to deal with things.
Well, I think you reap what you sow, and love and caring was only something a reflection of what you're giving everyone else, man.
Yeah, maybe that's true. But anyway.
So that's been if that's been a kind of a saviour in one sense, that's good news.
Oh, mate, it's certainly been good for me. Good for my mental health.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's lovely. And like prior to that, the previous 30 years, you find that you think long hours might kind of be a downer, or
you will recall, Dave, that when we kicked off, it was a 12-hour day was the standard.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
That
6/12s. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, 6/12 sometimes. The standard 60-hour week.
Right.
Think of that, boys and girls. 60 hours a week, not 50 or 38.
Well, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so that was hard on the home life for sure.
Yeah.
You had to have people that were either very, very understanding, or you had to be just a single bloke.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you find the industry today?
Well, 2 hours less a day to do.
That's nice. Yeah.
So that's good. But no, look, the rough edges have been taken off. You know, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot more. What's the right way of putting it?
Giving, giving back,
giving or forgiving. I don't know, but certainly the
progress.
Yeah.
Health and safety.
Health and safety. That's a big deal, mate. We have health and safety officers now on the job, in the workshop,
physically
on the set.
and mentally.
Yeah, I mean, what we used to do, you know, manual handling and climbing ladders and things like that we should never have been doing, and people got hurt. They did. People got hurt.
Right. Yeah.
And now that's all been taken care of.
Right.
People still do silly things, but if the health and safety is there to watch them, or to see what there's going on, especially on set.
I feel like that the whole industry has matured a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and it's kind of been forced to.
Yeah, exactly. You know. Well, yeah, the rough edges have been smoothed down.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably a good way to put it.
All right.
And like I had about a 12-year break, well, a 13-year break from films and just worked in the theme parks. And to come back to it and be welcomed back,
right,
was great. And to find out that it's come ahead so far.
That's great. I mean, I've been away for 20 years.
Yeah.
And coming back, I've seen the difference.
Yeah.
People are the same.
Well, there's some of the same people. Some of the same people here. Yeah.
That's great, eh? Okay, Ian. Okay.
I can't get used to you calling me Ian.
No, sorry. Well, I find it. Okay. Mocha.
Yes, Dave.
Describe one of the zaniest moments in the industry.
Oh, mate, got to be trying to produce a movie during the COVID.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting.
It was crazy, the things that we went through to actually get the job done. Like the turning up for work 15 minutes early every day so that you could line up and go through and do your COVID test with the skewer up the nose and then wait another 15 minutes to get the result before you could start work for the day, and then be confined on set anyway, be confined to your zone And depending on whether you had to actually be on set or just work around the set, you had to have the right wristband on.
Wow.
So, you know, you had to have...
What's the difference between a wristband? Who has different wristbands?
Okay, well, if you didn't have to go on set, you only had one wristband. If you actually went onto the set to do anything, where the cast may be and everybody else, you had to have another wristband. So
I don't get it. You're either clean or not, right?
Well, this is the rigors that we went through. Yeah, and then if you weren't on set, you had to remain in your own zone. You weren't supposed to mingle with the other departments at all. You had to, say for instance, when you had your lunch, you went out in groups of 2 or 3.
And how was everybody's mood? Did you find it different?
It was just strange. Everyone was...
Did you wear the mask?
Yeah, we had. That's right. You had to wear the mask all day.
Did they not recognise you?
Well, what the funniest thing, Dave, was after COVID, who are you again? Because you got used to recognising people by their eyes.
Oh, yeah.
And when the masks came off, you who do you work for again?
Have we worked together
What
before?
department are you working with?
It's strange.
It was very, very strange times indeed.
Because there wouldn't have been, the only really industries going were like public governments, hospitals,
it was
the NRL.
Yeah.
And then it sounds like the film industry.
Yeah, we were, I don't know how we managed to get away with it, but, you know, Chris Hemsworth rang Anastasia Palaszczuk and said, we want to make a movie, can we do it in the Gold Coast Entertainment Centre? Oh, sure, Chris.
Oh, right. Oh, well, he's got a bit of pull.
Apparently.
Yeah.
It worked.
Wow, okay.
But that was a weird time. So, I don't know about Zany, but it was certainly weird.
That's fascinating. Wow.
But the legacy lives on.
Okay, no, that's crazy. So, okay, here's some fun questions. What's your favourite part of the world?
Oh, my back veranda, for sure.
Nice.
Yeah, when I bought that house, my ambition was always to be able to sit on the back veranda and see the creek, or the water in the creek. And I did my extension and my renovation, and I can sit there, have a beer, and see the water in the creek.
And your creek's about 20 metres away, is it? Or can you get a fishing line from your balcony?
I could probably cast one. Yeah, you could. I reckon you could hit the water with the fishing. Yeah.
But are there fish in there, or is it just a waterfall creek?
It's like just there might be a yabby or two, but
okay.
I've never really gone looking for
it. Wow. Any other parts of the world or Australia that you'd like to just revisit for a holiday?
Went to the Western Australian coast last year and did a trip from Perth to Broome. And I've got a mate that lives in Exmouth, and I think I wouldn't mind going back to Exmouth and spending a week or two there, because if you've never been to Western Australia, do it. Go up to around Exmouth and have a look at the Ningaloo Reef up there. Yeah, beautiful part of the world.
Well, you should do that.
The Great Barrier Reef's pretty and everything, but there's places there where you can actually swim off the beach and just float along the reef. Beautiful.
There's no crocs up there, is there?
No, I think you're far enough south that the crocodile free.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Don't quote me on that.
Okay. Yeah, fair
Don't
enough. Yep. Favourite music?
Oh, I like a lot. 80s stuff, I think.
Right.
Yeah. Or anything, pretty much anything pre-2000.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's nice.
Because I haven't heard much in the last
it's all the same, isn't
it?
Yeah. Okay, favourite food?
Seafood, mate.
Yeah.
Seafood.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. That's any dishes?
I make a really good Asian salmon broth.
Oh.
It's a Jamie Oliver recipe. It's a bloody, if you like chilli.
Nice.
Knock your socks off.
I like chilli. My wife likes chilli. Yes. Nini, shout to you.
I need you.
Do you have a favourite restaurant?
Ooh. Yes, I do. It's
a secret?
It's no secret, actually. It's the Albert River Winery.
Okay, right.
It's a regular one, anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's another one too that does really good seafood. It's up at Cleveland at Victoria Point.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
go to the lighthouse at Victoria Point at Cleveland if you like seafood.
Good. Drink? Favourite drink?
Beer.
Beer.
Yeah, any beer.
That's a popular answer.
Yeah, I've never been a wine drinker or never. I mean, I do know a Merlot from a Chardonnay, but
Okay.
I just always said no. The wine's wasted on that. So it's just like my beer.
Okay. And favourite car?
If I had the wherewithal to have one, you mean? What would
Whatever
I buy?
you
Is that
like.
what you're saying?
Well, you could have a favourite expensive car and a favourite park car.
Okay, I like the look of an Aston Martin.
Right. Nice.
Yeah, so maybe I picture myself as James Bond. I don't know. No.
007.
Yeah. That's old.
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah, tell her you had the great what was it?
The HR. Yes, if I could have that again, I'd be happy. I think.
Okay.
1966 HR.
Beautiful.
Holden U.
Yeah. All right,
But,
that's great.
But these days I work in the miniatures.
Yeah.
132 scale. You can have any car you want.
Yeah. Did you hear that, everybody?
I'm actually recreating every car I've ever owned.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
In 132 scale.
That's like 3 cars. Is that?
No, that's quite a few. 15 to 16
Wow, that's a lot of cars. Wow.
in a lifetime.
Yeah. I think I've moved more house more than that.
Oh, see, I haven't moved house at all. So
Oh, there you go.
I've owned 2 houses.
Wow, that's great.
The one I'm in now and the one I had before that.
That's nice. Okay, we're back with Ian Mercho, one of the greatest scenic artist signwriters I've ever met, and pure quality talent, pure quality personality. Merch, if you could choose another role within the industry we are in, what would you be interested in?
Yes. I reckon I could be in front of the camera.
Great.
Yeah.
I think you can.
I don't mind it. Or I'd be behind the camera calling the shots.
Right, here, you
I
start
can
asking the
direct.
questions.
No, well, no.
You
No,
can
you
do me
do,
next time.
but I'll tell you how to do it next time. Don't ask him that.
I love it.
When you ask that question,
Yeah.
I want you to.
That's nice, right? Okay, so if you could choose another job, profession entirely, what would it be?
I've known this one for a long time.
Have you?
If I could have ever done anything else,
I'm waiting there. This is going to be good.
I would have loved to have been a ski instructor.
A ski instructor.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we used to go skiing a lot and loved it. But
Snow skiing.
yeah, not snowboarding. Sorry,
Not
tried
water
boarding.
skiing.
No, water ski.
grass skiing?
Water ski on one ski.
Wow.
Yeah, single ski.
Oh, you got the legs for it.
Yeah, left foot forward.
Oh man, that's great.
Um,
And what is it about that snow skiing? What is it? Is it the turn? Is it like surfing on a?
Snow bunnies. It's the après ski.
So how often would you ski when you were younger then?
Look, Beloved and I learnt to ski on our honeymoon, which was 1986.
Yeah, Beloved being Michelle. Yeah.
And we went down about every year after that we'd go down.
86.
So yeah, so we
Where did you ski? Threadbow or something?
yeah, Perisher
Perisher.
Smiggins.
Okay.
And the last time we went, which we went from up here down to Falls Creek,
Right.
and it was the best week of skiing I ever had, and especially and it was the last time I've skied. The last day was absolutely perfect. It was strap the skis on, out the door, down the hill, onto the lift, and we were first ones up the hill, and we stayed out all day.
That's really great.
And like,
did you come home all shiny face and everything?
Blue skies, skied in a t-shirt all day.
Wow.
It was just magic.
Was that powdery snow, hard snow?
No, it was hard because Australian snow is mostly sort of hard snow.
And did you ever feel like, I'm in trouble for a second?
All the time. Yeah.
Did you?
Oh, yeah, because I'm not a great skier by any means, but I love it. I like to do it. So
So you want to go to the Olympics and do the skiing, if you could?
No, just work in the snow and be an instructor.
Oh. That's great. That's wonderful. Murcho, would you recommend becoming a scenic artist to the youth?
Terrible job. There? Don't ever try it. Don't try this at home, boys and girls. Wouldn't recommend it at all. No, it's a great gig. Love it.
That's good.
Well, if you've got any artistic talent, have a go, have a crack.
That's right.
Get in with a good crew.
Yeah,
you know,
that's good.
Like our lad Hamish has done.
Yeah.
He'll end up being our boss one day.
Yeah, he probably will.
Yeah.
They all could be.
He asks questions, and that's we keep bringing Hamish up as an example. He's a lad who asks questions. He questions everything. He wants to, because he genuinely wants to know, and that's what you need to do. If you want to get into the game, just get in with a good crew. I don't know how you get your connections, whatever you do, but get in with someone good and ask questions, learn.
And I just expanding on like the role of the scenic artist. I think it's been changing. I think initially everyone's goal was to become the greatest artist they could be, which is true, which is great. But the position is always becoming on these big projects. It's also becoming a managerial role.
Oh yeah.
Of the talent.
Yeah.
Like you may not be the greatest artist, but you could be the greatest coordinator of art.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, that's also a role. That's not the role I ever wanted.
Yeah. Right.
I have run crews, but it's not what I prefer to do.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I'm happy doing what I'm doing now.
So, do you think the role will be obsolete in the future?
No. The actors have still got to stand in front of something to deliver their lines, you know, and it's because unless they do away with the actors, you know, because they have to, stand in front of this lamp and know it's a lamp. They can, to some extent, work on blue screen and in front of blue screens, and stand on a blue screen box, but they really prefer the tangible things like the weaponry and things like that. That
the digital platforms can't provide.
Yeah, well they do. They can only do so much.
Yeah,
but I know the actors themselves prefer to be working on a proper set with props, with all the right stuff. Knowing
they can talk to the scenic artist after shooting and have a chat with a coffee.
Well, yeah, it happens. Yeah,
that's great. Okay, so what will the future hold for you?
I'd like to be like Ray. I'd still like to be getting calls when I'm 80 to come and do a sign, that kind of thing. And I'll be working as long as people will have me because I enjoy it.
Gotcha.
That's the thing. And I go back to something that my father once said. He said, "Son, if you find a job that you enjoy doing, you'll never work a day in your life."
Right. Yeah.
It's not work if you enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. And that's great. So, I'm sure you'll be around for a long time yet.
I hope so. I hope to keep going.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd want to be doing anything else. I don't think I'll ever actually give up working.
It's incredible. Like, how do you find sign writing straight line? And no problem physically.
Yeah, still all right.
Still sharp.
Yeah. No arthritis yet.
So. I wanted to ask you about dagger lining trucks.
Yeah.
Have you ever done lots
Absolutely,
of?
Mate.
Incredible.
When I was an apprentice, that was our thing. Our shed was, if you wanted a truck sign written and pinstripe, you came to us.
And just quickly, what's the technique? I mean, what are you, enamels, media?
Yeah, absolutely. It was all enamel when I started, or when I was an apprentice. Everything was enamel.
Right.
Like, we didn't usually use any acrylics unless we were painting a banner, on
Okay.
canvas, and they were canvas banners.
And the enamel is good for dagger.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it slides. Right?
Yeah,
You can't
that's
really do it with acrylic, can you?
It's possible, but it's like I use it on films and that. I can do a pinstripe on them, with acrylic. But
You got an amazing flow.
yeah,
Merch. Incredible. I've seen you. Oh, that's good. Okay, so yeah, to be asked back and just to keep going until you drop.
why not? It's
Yeah.
like, what would I rather be doing?
Exactly. Yeah.
Surrounded by nice people and
Okay.
good facilities.
Nice.
Mm.
What would be you may have touched on this earlier, what would be the best advice you would give an up and coming scenic artist?
Yeah, like I said, just try and find a good crew, ask the questions. Never stop asking questions, because if you don't ask questions, you're not learning.
Okay.
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 Try and get with a crew that's got a few old blokes on it.
Yeah, there's a couple of lucky people on this show.
Yeah.
That's great. All right. So, have I forgotten anything? Is there anything you want to talk about? We can edit that out. That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Here's another fun part.
All right.
Okay. In one or a few words, describe these artists.
Okay. Right.
Ray Pedler,
Oh, it's the Godfather.
the Godfather.
The Godfather. He's like being the father to us all, right? And having him, honestly, having him around the workshop at the moment it's as good as having my own father there.
Oh, that's lovely.
I can't just shake hands with him. I've got to give him a hug.
That's nice. Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah, it is. It's very, very nice.
Did you work with Billy Malcolm?
I did. I met Billy on the theme park job. To be honest, on the Movie World theme park way back then. He taught me how to drink beer Kimberley Cold.
Wow. What's Kimberley Cold?
Kimberley Cold is hot. Yeah,
hot.
straight out of a carton that hasn't been anywhere near a fridge, straight off the pallet. He used to keep a carton of throwdowns under his seat, his driver's seat.
Wow, that's nice.
And I can remember having beers at morning tea with Billy Malcolm, because I said, "You got cold ones, Bill?" He said, "Oh, they're Kimberley Cold." I said, "Good enough. Let's have one."
That's great. Mike Johnson.
Mikey, oh, lovely man, Mike, and a very, very talented songwriter.
Yes.
I'd like to be as good as Mikey on a bad day.
Wow.
On one of his bad days. Yeah,
that's a compliment, I tell you.
No,
I'd love to get Mike on the show one day.
Talented, I'd like to get Mike at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
terrific.
I know he's
Okay.
he's got some issues.
Bluey? Wayne Truce, Bluey.
The Golden Colt. Come on. Yeah.
That's it?
Love to have a rinse with Louis.
Oh, that's it. That's all. That's it. And all the best to Bluey at the moment.
Yes, mate.
Louis Bull.
Louis. Oh, a bloody gentleman. Good friend. Gentleman.
Nice.
Yeah, and a very, very talented fella as well. But
Okay. That's
talent aside, true gentleman.
lovely. Tina Bull.
Miss Tint.
Miss Tint.
I call her Miss Tint, she calls me Mr. Bit.
That's nice.
Still all great names. Nah, gorgeous girl.
That's
And
great.
again, so talented.
Right.
So very talented.
Before I forget, and I'll never forget, Rob Bull.
Great friend.
Great friend. Nice.
Great friend.
Ian Richter.
Bless his sequin socks.
That's nice.
One of the most absolute geniuses when it come to this craft. Absolute genius. Sadly missed. And actually, I'll put it up on his post many times. I said he's often missed but never forgotten.
Right. No, of course, yeah. Derek Winness.
Derek. Not enough metho in the world for Derek.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Not enough metho in the world for Derek. Right?
Oh,
right?
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
I think that wraps it up.
Fully finished?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. I'm David Duffin. It's been such a pleasure to get to talk and get Murcho's time. He's a busy man. I hope you've enjoyed the show. But Murcho, thank you, mate.
Thanks,
you're
mate.
a legend and you're a gentleman of the scenic art community.
Thanks,
we
mate.
really respect you and cherish your talents.
Mate.
And thanks for teaching everybody.
Oh,
Thank you, man.
happy to be here, mate. Happy to be here.
All right.
Thanks, Dave.
You should be in front of the camera.
Well, I don't know if you know, do you ever hear of Fright Nights at Movie World?
Yeah.
You know what they are and what they're about?
Yeah.
Well, in its sort of infancy, we got it going.
Oh,
I was integral in getting that thing going. Like showing entertainment really wanted that to happen, but to build the mazes and to actually put on something that was worthwhile, charging people to come in and see. Like they had a couple of years where it was like kids trick or treating sort of bullshit. They wanted to take it up a notch. The first year we did anything really good, we had the Saw maze, right? You know the movie The Saw or the movies?
Saw, yeah.
Well, they called on my skills to scenic the mazes. And the first one was the Hillbilly Slasher. Right? We just had
And you're telling me you're going to say you were the slasher?
yeah.
You were the slasher?
Because I created this room about this size where the punters would come around the corner and into this room, and it was basically full of body parts and
Right.
we were given mannequins and we had all this stuff. We had like a prop store that we could raid
Right.
and use whatever we wanted. So I made this mannequin, like the hillbilly slasher. His backstory was that he would like get hitchhikers and campers and just come up and things like that.
Jeepers creepers.
So I had this mannequin made so that you could peel the skin back off a face and had all the tendons and things on the face in its sort of basic form.
Yeah.
And so I went through the maze on the first night and I expected like someone to be there actually doing that. And I go through and there's no one in here doing actually any
Scary.
scares or presenting. And I said, what's going on? I thought there's no one in here to scare anyone. And
Who was running?
Chris, what can I remember his second name?
What was he, art director or sort of marketing?
Show and entertainment. He started off in police academy anyway.
Yeah,
Chris
right.
and he, Chris Grew. I said, well, Grewski, what's going on? And so he said, oh mate, we just can't get people to work back. And I said, well, I'll fucking come in. I'll do it for nothing. I'll come in.
Did you?
I said, look, I'll come in and dress up like an idiot and scare people. No worries. So the next night I did, I got into a costume and come down and I was the hillbilly slasher.
Wow. That's great.
And I did it for
So,
about, did it for about
have you done
5
any
years.
theatre? Do you, apart from that?
That's the most I've done, but I got,
Rave reviews?
yeah, well, I had so much fun, Dave. One year they got me, can you imagine me being the circus strongman?
Wow.
But they had it in the main square in Movie World, they had the freak show.
Yeah.
So characters, and I was the strongman, and I had like this barbell that had like these great looked like iron balls on the
Yeah,
barbell.
right. Yeah, it'd be
And
great
it was
for that.
bent, you know.
Yeah.
But I had the full-on circus strongman leotard, and I grew the moustache out so I could curl it up at the end.
Wow.
And the bloody theatre makeup on, so I looked a bit scarier.
Yeah, right.
But I was Boris, world's strongest man. So I had Russian meerkat accent. And so I was having a ton of fun with it. And I had to stay in the one spot for about 20 minutes and just hold the barbells and every